Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Quarry After Show, Season 1, Episode 4, as Mac finally kills Sug. And we're going to talk about it tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going back to the 70s, to the time of Munich. The Olympics. Ah, man. Ooh. I gotta first off retract a statement because Mac didn't kill him. It was somebody else.
I know.
We have Lacretia back.
Hey guys, I'm Lacretia Lyon, so of course you guys can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet since there is only one.
That's right. We have Courtney as well.
Hello, hello. And as always, you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Cohen, C-O-U-H-E-N.
And what was your guys' overall reaction to this episode?
Gruesome. The first thing, in all caps, I wrote like way too graphic because that opening scene, I had to look away more than once.
Yeah, it was.
And then Joanie's wound.
That
same
one I was
thing.
okay with.
Well, for me, it was like when you pulled the bandage off and you see the bandage. Like her back didn't look nearly as bad as I thought it was going to after seeing
the bandage.
Yeah.
See, I'm a messed up person because I actually thought the grossest moment was when he jumped in that pool. All the violence and stuff I'm totally cool with, but I was like, that's gross, man.
See, for me, it would have been then the hose thing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
trying to suck that water out. Ugh.
Even after the other dude, you're like, oh,
Yeah, I know.
Sharing spit. Yeah. No wonder he trusted him.
Well, in this episode, we took we literally took a detour. We didn't really touch upon the broker. We didn't see, any of these other characters and whatnot.
Buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's off doing something else. We literally just focus on pretty much this motel, and therein lies the beauty, or not so much if you're looking at the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I did, I thought overall what I enjoyed most about it was kind of figuring out Joanie and Mac's relationship, right? We've been speculating on that and, why they loved each other and why ultimately Mac did go back for a second time, and we kind of get that.
We get a lot of answers. A very dialogue-heavy episode, and so it's one of those where you look at it and it kind of feels like nothing happened, and then you're like, okay, well, we find out about war, Joanie gets the truth, they talk about Cliff, so kind of a lot happens. It's just all very dialogue intense. So it doesn't seem quite as entertaining.
Yeah.
If that's I don't know if that's the right word, but
it is. So let me ask you this: now that we know the reason why Mac went back, does it make sense?
For me, yes.
Oh, yeah. And I kind of thought that was it. I was like, Mac, had not shown this shady side. That was more Arthur. So I felt that Mac really was about duty. And so to have that confirmed, I was like, okay, that is pretty good. Because, I know a lot of people who are soldiers or cops and, firefighters, things that are about duty. And it is hard for people to understand their point of view.
Yeah. That, dating somebody that's in the military, it was always hard to understand, like, why. It always sometimes did feel like he wanted to be there more than home. Mm-hmm. And for me, when I watched American Sniper and I listened to the dialogue between him and his wife, something when I watched that clicked and I was like, it almost isn't like he wants to, he has to. Like it is a duty, It is a need. And when we see Mac talk to Joanie, it reminded me of that scene in American Sniper for the same reason, just because that's what really made it hit home. It's like, I will never understand why you have this sense of duty and why you want to go put yourself in harm's way, to protect our freedoms, like why that is a need for you. But I understand that it is a need and can only choose to love and support and respect that because somebody has to.
Did you think that at least then, like I thought the first half Mac articulated that side very well, but then when he said that he wanted to make her proud, it was like, okay, is this? That's where he started losing me in terms of the argument.
I know what you mean.
Well, and I think, in that line, I understood what he meant, but he didn't articulate it well, because he has to have a purpose to be the man that she deserves. And this was his purpose, and that really is, so it is in a way about her. It's about being this man, being this one to do the duty, because he feels like he doesn't have another skill set, too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just, especially early on when they're kind of talking about Labor Day and things like that, and then he says you wouldn't make the world's worst mother. Like, their conversations just always start somewhat like we're gonna get to somewhere good, and then it just blows up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I worry about, because it's a, I know that they love each other, but it's also not necessarily the healthiest relationship to be a part of.
Not at all. Like, especially when she drives off, just like freaking him out. I was like, that's so immature.
Well, and then to find, because I really didn't think she was coming back either. I thought that, I don't know, I guess I don't know what I thought was going to happen, that the broker would eventually find him, or he would have to contact them and say, come pick my ass up, or, something, But I did think it was pretty immature telling of who Joanie is, that she was trying to emulate and make him feel the way she felt.
Do you think that was a bad lesson, though? Like, once I understood it, I was like, okay, maybe not the best way to go about it, but the lesson does hit home, and it makes sense.
Absolutely. I completely understand, and it is telling of her, just kind of how messed up him being gone, like what that really did to her and how that affected her. And then all of the stuff that has happened since, it's just, she's not okay. And obviously neither is Mac, because we see, like you've said before, now, today we know it's PTSD, but then they didn't really know what the soldiers, or, what people that go through these things that these men, and I guess, really only men at that point, did.
Yeah, and to me, it's just like Joanie is only thinking about herself in this point, and that's why it's really hard for me to like care about her character at all, is because I get why you did that. You're trying to show him your pain, but do you even have an idea of what he went through over there? And it's sort of like, set yourself aside, as James Lott Jr. says, take several seats, honey. Seriously, he was at war, and the first time not by choice, but oh God, you were home alone and had to get a job.
Well, here's the thing. I think for the first time ever, they were able to be honest with each other, and obviously you can kind of pin it on her, but at the same time, how is she supposed to know when this dude does not talk whatsoever? And when she grabs his hand at the end, it's like finally they're reading not only the same page, but like finally the same book, because they weren't even doing that. And that was such a great shot, just the hand
at the very end. I did, yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah, we joked about it, how many shots.
Oh my gosh, because it was a close. It's to time that have his hand and her. Yeah, that's it, they got a really good take.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that is one of the best parts about the show, is the cinematography is just spot on.
Yes.
So many of the directions they take is great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I thought, obviously, a very powerful monologue from him at that point. Just kind of... Because I also did joke about it when he enters. His number one phrase for starting any conversation is, "You okay?" Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seems to be like, let's break the ice with that. Like, you okay? And
it's like very obvious she is in no way okay.
Yeah, like I'm smoking a joint in a bathtub. What do you think?
Yeah, not okay.
Yeah, but unlike in the past times, now he's able to reveal everything. And to your point, Lacretia, now she's starting to understand, like, oh wow, I have been selfish and I never knew this stuff. But again, I also pitted on him because he wasn't open about it.
Right.
So, I respect that. Yeah, and I think also too, by her triggering, we'll call it his PTSD of saying you slept with prostitutes and you killed women and children. And,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
that was just way too far to me. I was like, to even bring that up is just like, it just shows the level of Joanie, not understanding, what war is, and it's almost like, back then, they're not millennials, it's sort of our baby boomer parents, but they had that same me mindset, and that they knew what was going on when they weren't there. And that's just something that's interesting to see mirrored in our society today, is that same thought process of like, You're going to bring this up for someone who was, I mean, whether you agree with the Vietnam War or not, that's not the point, is he was fighting for his country, you know, and for other people, and she doesn't know he killed women and children. You know, he obviously, you know, that may be what set him off, but to even bring that up to someone you're supposed to love, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Well, at least it confirmed that he did not do that.
Yeah.
So at least some good came out of that.
And you could tell that's kind of, I felt like she was bringing it up because I think she felt guilty because she knew he was telling the truth, that he had been faithful to that, you know, to that point. And then later to find out that he, like, saw her with Cliff, you know, that final time. And I was glad, I thought he was going to lie and say he didn't kill him. Like, when he said, I found him under the car, I thought he was going to kind of imply, like, not, like, flat out lie, I guess, but kind of just, like, imply, like, I found him under the car, like, the way the boy in the morning did, kind of a thing. And so I just kind of, like, didn't do anything about it. But you called it as soon as he said that he killed him. You totally called it that.
Listen, I'm such a romantic at heart. I know exactly what to tell a woman. I killed him.
Yeah.
And I'd do it all over again if I had to.
That works every time.
That's right.
Say you killed for her.
That's
Little
right.
panty dropper.
Speaking of panty droppers, let's talk about Mac and Sam, that relationship today. It developed quite nicely. They bonded over pool pumps.
Yeah.
Did Mac, going back to this thing of feeling proud and like he's deserving of something, he just was he just really passing the time, or did he feel like somewhat important to this guy?
I felt that he did. Like, he could level with this guy because he could see that this guy is trying to do, you know, build up his business, his hotels, but he didn't really know where to start. And I felt that this was showing why Mac would have been a good swim teacher and stuff like that. He has that need to want to, like, educate and help people, which is probably why he was a soldier as well. And to me, we're seeing the good side of Mac because he genuinely wanted to help this guy. And, you know, that's something he knows. He knows pools. That's obviously important to him.
I feel like, I don't know, after seeing the entire episode, I sort of feel like they just needed something to do to pass the time. Like plot-wise, they just had to have something to happen until Suggs could find them and get through it. And
maybe, but it also made sense. Like, you know, he did form a mini relationship, and I forget what initially Sam said, but it was kind of also it was a very symbolic line. I'll have to go back and I'll leave it in the comment section. Which, by the way, kudos to a lot of you guys. Some of your comments are fantastic.
Know your stuff.
You know, but I do agree. I mean, the greater purpose was, and here's my frustration with it, though. Right? They kept showing Munich on TV in the hostage situation. Obviously, it gives context and whatever, but it also foreshadows that Sam's going to be a hostage.
Harlow.
Yeah.
Sam Harlow.
No, remember, so Mac lied and said his name was Sam.
Oh.
To Harlow.
Yes, this is true.
Because we talked, I thought it was really interesting that Mac gave himself, like, a fake name, and it was, like, right after, you know, Joanie comes over, and it's like, I hate you. And he's like, Joanie. It's like, I mean, obviously he couldn't call her a fake name because she'd be like, who the hell are you calling Sally? You know, but,
is that your whore?
But it's just one of those things when it's like, it just was fun. It just was kind of funny to me. Like, I'm gonna lie about my name, yet
He could have called her Joe. J-O.
yeah, right.
Joe.
But anyway,
Joe.
so
Very good. Yes, thank you. I'm sure my conversation from earlier makes no sense, but now hopefully
when he says Sam and Mac, he meant Harlow and Mac.
Yes.
That's what. Yeah.
So in terms of Harlow, you know, I think it would have played a little bit better. This is a nitpick, but where Sugg makes the phone call and then that's it, and we're kind of left with there, because to have him drive to the motel and we see that he's there, it was just too obvious of what's going to happen.
Yeah, we totally called it.
Yeah.
So.
What we didn't call, though,
yes, true,
is the shootout. Holy moly!
Did not see that coming. Well, and the whole time, because we see Joanie just kind of going and sitting in the corner. For me, I was just like, this is the guy. Like this is your chance. You know what I mean? And you're just like cowering in a corner. Then all of a sudden she has a gun, and there's another chick standing in the doorway with a gun.
Joanie did shoot him in the eye.
Yes.
His eye was completely gone.
But before that, it was one of those where I was like, you're just gonna cower in the corner? Like, this is your chance to, like, get this guy. You have a gun. Like, I mean, I didn't know she had it as close to her as she did, because we don't see her grab it. But I'm like, you know where the gun is. You picked it up 5 times already, you know.
Maybe she just has. I don't know. But, you know, she's got her own version of PTSD.
Well, and I was saying, because we see, you know, after that whole incident, when Mac is saying, like, you know, let's go. Like, I mean, she's kind of stunned and can't move, and he has to kind of like shake her out of it to get. I mean, and I've never seen anybody killed or shot in real life, let alone been a part of it. You know what I mean? So. That has to affect you.
Well, it's also one thing, like, if we were all in, and like I shot somebody, it's one thing to see, like, because you can contextualize it. Now, this just, a guy just walks in, you got the hotel owner there, and then this random lady just out of nowhere. It's like, what is going on?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and to me, I had kind of predicted as I was watching the episode that random lady would come back, because the way she was looking and the way she was dressed was like, there's something significant here. And I did think that she was going to be involved somehow, like whether with the broker or whatever. So, I mean, she obviously knew who they were, like by looking, at least with Mac. But yeah, to see her just come in and shoot Suggs, I was like, man, this chick is awesome.
Heck yeah.
I like that. Just coming in, because, yeah, I mean, everybody else is just laying around on not what to do.
I mean, it's the person you least expect, because you know, he's suspecting the encyclopedia seller.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I knew right.
Poor guy.
What did you say, Courtney? What did you think that Mac was going to do when he was walking over to him?
Oh, I thought I was going to beat him up.
I thought he was going to straight up kill him.
Just like strangle him or something.
Yeah.
Well, he's just selling encyclopedias and being a little creepy.
He was very creepy.
Yeah.
Yes.
They definitely played that up. But yeah, Kurt Yeager's dead.
I know. So sad.
That's it. He's just dead. It'll be interesting because now, I mean, in terms of the broker, his influence clearly spans further than any of us thought, at least for me. Maybe not you guys, but you can...
What, you mean with seeing that girl's involved?
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's got his finger on everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously way more powerful, and it's really interesting to see because, I mean, I think that they had traveled, 5 hours outside of Memphis, and I think, so he obviously has a pretty long reach, so, I don't know if they followed.
Well, because Mac didn't tell him, they're like, where are you? He's like, that's none of your business, just get the guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I almost wonder if, they sent him in the car that they sent him in, and that lady was there to follow him straight from the lot that night they left town.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe she's from the Memphis area as well.
I gotta get some of these people. These are great people. Yeah. Well, obviously his reach is far. Anything else about the episode? I mean, on the surface, it was very simple. I liked that they brought in Munich. I thought that was a great tie-in.
Yeah.
But other than that,
No, I just really liked that we get some of the answers that we do see. Like Mac and Joanie and cheese or
Macaroni and cheese.
That
Yes, that was
and then
cute.
they talk about the fair and being sick. Like, we really do get these little tidbits of the times that they were happy and that they really do have history and good times and the love is there. And she talks about Cliff and they get a lot out in the open and they kind of I don't want to say like have a clean slate because there's always going to be that history.
There's too much blood already to have a clean slate.
But just like you said, like they're in the same book, they're all on the same page, and now they can move forward together or not. I mean, her grabbing his hand would lead us to believe that together is kind of the way they're going to move forward. But I feel like I'm not too quick to just assume that because I feel like shows will do that. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to make it look like everything's gonna be simple. I won't say simple, but like they're gonna be like strong together or, you know, unified from here on out. And I think there's still a lot that the broker's influence can kind of do to potentially find a wedge between them.
I think so, but at least they're honest. Like, that's what.
Yes, I appreciated that from both sides. I mean, he told her the truth after she went through and kind of explained it, and not to say that what she did was right, but kind of like him going to war, and it's like you never really get it unless you have that same sense of duty. Like for her, it's like he can never really understand how alone you can feel when you've been kind of left behind in that way. And I've had that conversation before, you know, I've never been as alone or felt as alone maybe as Joanie has, but there's definitely a sense of that when you feel like somebody's doing something they don't have to from your perspective. It's like, oh, you're choosing to go put yourself in harm's way, not you're drafted, there's no choice. Like this is, you know, we have a volunteer military today, so.
Yeah. All right, anything new, Lacretia?
I think that pretty much summed up the episode. Yeah.
So let's do predictions for episode 5.
How do we even do that? I mean, you watch the teaser for next week. I feel like.
Well, the broker gives him a ride, and you know, now it's back to business. Like, you know, if I was the broker, I said, okay, everything's now, you know, in terms of Joanie and him having a clean slate, we're good there. Sugg is now dead. We're good there. Now
they got to go home. Yeah.
Still need my money.
Well, I guess I'll predict that we see Tommy again, because Tommy has yet to let go. You know, because they showed up, they got called away. Now they're back in the house, so I feel like we'll see Tommy play into this, looking for Joanie. And I feel like Joanie somehow ends up involved with this whole broker business. It's kind of like, well, now I know the truth, and if he's in this because
she's gonna be a mob wife.
Arthur's stuck in it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in it too, and
don't tell Ruth,
right? Those are my predictions, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd love to see her pull more of a like Skylar White, where she wants to be a part of it, as opposed to like, you know, some of the other female characters we see when they get given this, you know, hey, this is what I have to do for a living. You know, it's like help. It's always more fun to launder the money and stuff.
I think she's also going to try to figure out from Ruth where perhaps the money could be.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
That'll be interesting.
But I feel like, and maybe you saying that makes me feel like maybe she's gonna try to do that because she wants out. Like she just wants to like get the money from Ruth, you know, like find out where it is without even Ruth realizing it, get it, and try to like buy their way out of this. Yeah. And she does that, and like then it's like, oh no, he's not that kind of guy. Like there is no getting out from under the broker.
That'll be the big challenge of, you know, can they just do this long enough just to get out of the game, or can he get out of the game?
Right.
It's gonna be the next hurdle for Joanie and Mac, the soap opera that is called Quarry.
Yeah.
So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, we really, really appreciate it. In the meantime, where can the people follow you?
Hey guys, since I'm Lacretia Lyon, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one.
And you can find me, Courtney Henderson, on Instagram and Twitter at Cohen, COUHEN.
And follow us here at AfterBuzz TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and all that fun stuff. As I said, you guys have been wonderful with the comments section. I've been trying to respond more and more.
Yep, keep it up.
So, yes, definitely do that. And we look forward to episode 5. And hopefully we'll have a special guest.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned for that. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.